Hi, welcome to another episode of Brutally Delicious. I'm Randy, the frontman for Blood of Angels. Today we're going to be cooking some kebabs on the grill with sirloin and all kinds of goodies. Come check it out. Alright, we're going to cut up the vegetables here soon. We got some white onions, green onions, a couple of reds, and one orange one just for effect. Not really for any flavor wise. We'll cover that up with something else later. So you won't get the full onion flavor until it becomes grilled and nice and juicy, and maybe a little burnt and hard on the outside for texture. Alright, let's peel some onions, get all that dry stuff off there. I'm gonna make them bleed a little bit. They're gonna get a little, you might get a little eye sensitive when you cut these up, but the more you do it, the more it doesn't really, not really any effect. I'm cutting up the whole onion because I know I'm making a lot of kebabs, so I'm cutting them into quarters. Anything that's small, too small to put on the kebab is going over there to separate and process later. Probably make some omelets or something with that in the morning. Got the heart out of there, so shouldn't have to worry about making you cry too much. Some quarters. It looks like I'm wasting a lot, but I'm gonna use everything I got right here, just in a different form, shape, or fashion. But for this type of meal, I don't need anything that small. So that's one onion. Use your best judgment on how big you want to have it. If you grill it like this and you think the onions are just too overwhelming, which I don't think they are, because they cook down and stuff and get all thin and nice and crispy. So alright, now it's time to cut up the bell peppers. Really simple, no much skill involved. Some people rip that out, but I like to cut it out because I like to get that extra white part off. That way my peppers sit more flush on the kebab sticks. You can use those pieces. Save that for later. I'm just cutting everything in half. On top of the red one. Oh, seeds on that one. That one's going to be real sweet. And we got one more to go. And that's 5 peppers and 2 onions in under 3 minutes. Easy processing. Alright, so we got all our vegetables all cut up and nice and looking pretty now. We're gonna use this top sirloin meat right here, cut it in a couple of squares. We're gonna pre-season the meat with brown sugar bourbon, and after we do that, it's all cut into chunks. We're gonna pour a little bit of this Worcestershire in a Ziploc bag just to get it a little more flavor. That's my secret ingredient right there. It's not that secretive, but to say the name it is. And we're going to put some potatoes on the kebabs. I'm going to prep them up before we put them on there, get them all nice and soft, and give them a little salad seasoning supreme just to spice up the batch a little bit. And if we have enough time, I'll even throw some chuck eyes on the grill. These are special steaks right here. You don't see them too often in the store, and that's because you only get 3 of them off a 30-pound piece of muscle. So they're kind of rare, but side note to self, they're better than ribeyes. And we're going to top off the end of the kebabs with baby bella mushrooms, and as an added bonus, we're going to add a little bit of summer sausage to see how that tastes on the grill. I've never kebab that before, but you never know. I got one more vegetable to cut up. It was off to the side, didn't see it, kind of blended into the background, but we're going to put some pineapple on them kebabs and have some grilled pineapple as well. That way we get all our fruits and vegetables and proteins, one meal in one stick. All right, back to the cutting board. Cut the vegetables up first. Time to cut the steak. You can see it's 2 separate muscles. I'm just gonna peel that muscle off. Meat goes 2 different ways, so save that for later. I don't need all this fat on here. I'm kind of a lean guy. I like my muscle. So we're gonna take off some of that fat, but I'll leave a little bit on, just so we get that grill savory flavor of the fat burning. When you have too much fat on there, you're gonna get flames, and when you get flames, that's when your kebabs turn. It doesn't really take a strong knife. You just follow the line. See the gristle line? Go on that side. Got the gristle out. Now someone doesn't get a chewy piece of meat for later. It's the worst. You get halfway into the kebab and then you hit a piece of gristle and it's like, what the fuck, man? Separate that, or when you make that kebab and you put 2 different muscles on one piece and that falls off and falls between the grades and stuff, it's gonna piss you off. So I like to eliminate that back there just right off the back. Alright. Now you can manipulate the meat. This is the one you want to kind of position a certain way on the kebab stick, because you want to play to the person biting it. And if you put it on the kebab stick wrong and someone tries to tear the meat off, they're going to go with the grain and it's going to be a horrible bite. So I like to factor all that in before I prep all this. You can see the grains going that way. So you gotta kind of cut at an angle. That way when they pull the meat off the kebab, it pulls nice. Alright, and that's a top sirloin all cut up. Alright, the sirloin's all cut up, portioned out into 3 sections. I'm gonna do 3 pieces of meat per kebab. Now this is kind of strange, you've probably never seen this before, but this is just a tactic I've been trying. What I do is I just poke a bunch of holes in the potato before I boil it. It seems to get more flavor inside the potato when I'm seasoning it and boiling it for some reason, so I think it's been effective so far. But I don't know if what I'm doing is doing anything at all, but in my head it is so far, so it's worked out, so I'm going to keep doing it. And it doesn't really take too much energy or time. All I gotta do is spin a potato. I don't know how long I've been doing this, 30 seconds, and I'm already halfway through the bag, so it's not a really long process. I would recommend probably going slow the first time until you get used to doing it, because sometimes my skewers are super sharp and you don't want to catch one right underneath your fingernail. That might not be a really good couple days after that. Alright, and that's the whole bag. In about 2 minutes we're going to boil some water and get these bad boys bubbling. Alright, so while those potatoes are coming to a boil and stuff like that, we're going to go ahead and season up the meat. Throw all the big chunks in there. Be kind of generous because it's going to fall off anyway or burn up. Especially when we mix in that Worcestershire sauce. And yes, that's how I say it, Worcestershire. That's how I've been saying it since I was a little kid, so that's how I'm going to keep saying it until I fucking die. Alright, now the meat's all nice and juicy, and we're going to add some Worcestershire to it. I don't really like marinating stuff in a bowl. I'm more of a Ziploc bag guy because I can rotate the bowl, or rotate the Ziploc bag and not be able to rotate the bowl. You can't flip the bowl upside down and keep all your juices spill all over your refrigerator, or have whatever surface you're using to marinate it. So we're gonna use a Ziploc bag and we'll get a good amount in there. That's gonna help tenderize the meat a little bit. I'm sure there's a shit ton of vinegar in there somewhere. Squeeze out a lot of that air. Get them all into one layer. Boom. 15 minutes, we're gonna flip that bad boy over. Don't those look to die for? Alright guys, for shits and giggles, we're gonna season up the vegetables. I got this salad supreme stuff. Got all my peppers and onions in there. And just mix it up like a really stiff salad. There we go. Now we got some on there, but not too much. Not overwhelmed. Alright, so I got all the onions in here now. Separating them all up. Again, this is an added bonus. You don't have to do this, but I really like salt. So we're going to have some fun. Might have to use 2 bowls. It's a lot of fucking onion. Alright, we got a nice ripe pineapple. Not too much green at all. I haven't cut a pineapple in a long time, so I'm going to use a bigger knife. That's my solution. Those are going to be good too. Let's get the cork out of there real quick. I bought this little fancy thing, so I don't like dicking around with it anymore. So I'm just going to get rid of it right now. That's awesome. Pretty big pineapple. Didn't quite make it through the threshold there. And that's the cork. Alright. There's a really cool way to peel this without using a knife. But I don't really have time for that, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut all this off right now. Now we can start cutting these up. Basically cut them the same width as you were cutting your meat. Yeah, that makes it easier, doesn't it? You can see a little bit of bark left on there. Some people say, oh, fuck it. But I kind of want the whole kebab to be good, not just parts of it. You don't want to be chewing on a piece of bark when you're trying to enjoy yourself. You go through all this work. Why skip out on something like this? I'm going to use all those too. Make some mixed drinks. That'd be good. Always cut more ingredients than you need. It's better to have leftovers than to run out at the end and then have to make some shitty looking kebabs that have like one piece of meat and a shit ton of onions. Alright, potatoes are boiling. I added a little bit of salad supreme in there. They're boiling pretty high, so I'm going to jack it down. Maybe I added too much water. Kind of looks like almost as dark as a tea. That kind of seasoning. Hopefully that goes inside the potatoes. It's kind of like opening up a baked potato and slicing it open and putting shit inside. This is just like a quick injector, using the boiling water as the injector. Now for the game changer, the summer sausage. Reminds me of football games with my dad back in the day. So, I had about 7 kebabs. So, I'm gonna cut 7 pieces. I'm just gonna put 1 on each one because I don't know how that's gonna turn out. Potatoes are still alive, they ain't bowled over yet, so that's pretty awesome. They're starting to get a little softer. Alright, the potatoes are nice and soft now. They're ready to be skewered right through the center. I'm gonna drain this out. They appear to change color just slightly. Alright. You can take them out of the pan, they'll maybe cool off a little easier, more easier for the hand. While that's doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and fire up this grill, and I'll show you why I'm firing up the grill so late. Alright, so I'm about to fire up this grill. I'm using Kingsford Matchlight Charcoal. I highly recommend my Matchlight Charcoal. You don't want to be dicking around with lighter fluid and stuff like that. Plus, if you go camping, all you need is 1 brisket to start your campfire. And that's about it. The reason I'm starting the fire so late, I could have started it before I prepped everything and had everything prepped and ready to go and then throw it right on the grill. But I want my meat to have a chance to marinate in that, all that juice I put it in. Don't want it to go to waste. So we're gonna go ahead and flip that meat over right now. All right, time to flip the meat over. Let the other side marinate because I didn't fill it up all the way, so only half is going at a time. I have 2 choices of skewers. I could have used the long ones, but I think I'm gonna go with the wooden ones because the wooden ones are square, not round. That way, when I skewer something, it's not gonna be jiggling around. So when I go to rotate the meat on the grill, the square holds it in place and everything just doesn't stay where it's at. I'm not gonna skewer anything yet, so I'm waiting for the potatoes to cool down. Hot potato. Alright guys, we got everything prepped, all ready to go, all lined up. I pre-wet the sticks so they wouldn't catch on fire when I'm cooking with them. Got everything all cut up. My prep pan ready to go. Let's start skewering some shit. It's gonna get a little messy right now because we're gonna be dabbling in all that juicy meat. So we're gonna do a trial run on to see what fruits or what vegetables we put on first, and fruits. That's right, we do got a vegetable. Some classic combination: pepper, onion, and a chunk of meat. Remember, we're using, in this particular one, we're gonna do 3 pieces of meat if we can fit them on this skewer, which I'm not quite sure if we're gonna be able to. I do have a lot of ingredients right here. What do you think? Meat with pineapple? That might taste good. Let's see how that works out. Alright, all we got left is bell peppers, so that's a good sign. Oh, no, we got another meat to throw on there. We might only get 2 per skewer, but that means we're going to be able to make a lot of skewers. And I trim the stalks on the mushrooms, that way they save space. And that kind of locks everything on there. That's 1. If you don't like the way that one looks, start it a little different. It's up to you, it's your food. You have to eat it. So make the combination you want. You can make them all different if you'd like. There's no rules right now, it's pretty much creativity at this point. So I'm just gonna grab whatever comes to mind. I remember what happened last time when I put the pineapple on, so let's lock it in. Oh, look at that juicy fucking piece of meat right there. Oh. Push that fat up against that onion. What kind of flavor is that gonna taste like? Who knows? You won't know until you bite into it. Got all our ingredients. Summer sausage. I guess we're doing summer sausage and a mushroom this time. Boom. Now all your kebabs are unique, so whenever you go to pick one at the end, you can pick one that best suits you. Alright, so we got our kebabs all prepped up. I even made some wild cards in there. I got one with a bunch of taters on it, and one with a bunch of pineapple on it. Those are the extra pieces, so we're going to go ahead and grill those up too. And as an added bonus, I'm going to add some sweet golden mustard barbecue sauce as a glaze right at the end. We'll see how that turns out. Alright, putting all these bad boys on there. The grill is not big enough for all of them. Or I didn't add enough charcoal, one or the other. Probably the charcoal. Probably didn't add enough. First time cooking on this grill, just got this bad boy today. My other one was a little on the off side, so I wanted it to be nice and fresh for today. So we're only going to do a couple at a time. See how those turn out. And then put the second batch on. Alright, so I got my kebabs on there. There's no secret to grilling. There's not, this meat has to cook for this amount of time, this meat has to cook for something else. Just don't walk away from your grill. You won't burn anything if you don't walk away. So I'm not gonna walk away. So I'm gonna like factor it in, maybe the onions and the peppers are gonna start burning soon. So I'm gonna give it about 10 minutes and then I'm gonna flip it over. I kind of want my meat a little pink in the middle, but not bloody pink because I have a lot of vegetables there and I don't want the blood to go into the vegetables and change the taste of those because I already spent so much time prepping those. So I'm going to get just a little bit of pink in the middle. So I'm going to rotate them in a little while and see how they look on the other side. And if they don't look good, I'm going to leave them the way they are. Alright. You can start to smell it. Alright. So it's been about 4 or 5 minutes. I don't really go too long. Already the vegetables are starting to turn, so that's good. The potatoes are pretty much already cooked all the way through. So I just had a couple sample ones. And it was pretty much like a mashed potato. Or a baked potato, if you will. Vegetables are starting to loosen up, so kind of give it a little bit of guide so you don't lose too much stuff underneath the grill. You're going to lose some stuff in the fire. It's inevitable. But you can prevent some of it from happening. And if you notice when you're cooking, it's more burn on the inside than on the outside. So, if you want it to cook better, just put the in on the out. That way the side is at the end of the charcoal. It's a little more evenly cooked. That way half your skewer isn't done and half of it's not. Alright, that's the first flip. I'm probably going to do that 2 or 3 more times just to get a good rotisserie kind of style cooking deal on it. I don't flip once and then flip once and then done. I like to rotate. I like to play with the grill. It's fun. Have some fun. You're cooking. It's going to be bomb. Alright, so I'm giving another twist. The grill's not too hot, so I can pretty much do it with my hands. Look, that side doesn't look done, so what I'm going to do is rotate. You can tell the center ones are hotter because when I went to grab them, so I'm going to take the ones from the center and I'm going to put them on the end, and then I'm going to take the ones from the end and I'm going to put them on the center. Got to do stuff like that when you don't add enough charcoal like I did. I should have put the charcoal all the way to the edge of the brim, but I wanted some cool spots, so that's why I didn't do it. Just in case some finish before the other, I can stick them to the side and it's kind of like they're sitting in the oven. And the fungus is starting to fall. Me, not a big fan of fungus. Don't really like mushrooms, but it's kind of a little added thing. I made some without it. I made some meat lovers ones with just meat and potato and a little bit of summer sausage. It's gonna be nice. Alright, that's the second flip. We're gonna check them again in a couple minutes. Alright. These suckers should be almost done, so round 2 is, ooh, look at that. That's nice. Some of them need to be rotated, not all of them. But now comes the fun part. We get to add this stuff on there and see how it tastes. I'm not going to add too much. I'm just going to put a quick layer. That way it doesn't overwhelm all the other flavors. And this is honey mustard barbecue sauce. Or not honey mustard, it's more of like a golden mustard. It doesn't really have too much honey in it. I can taste a hint of honey. Alright, I'm going to flip these guys over one more time. Go with the other side. See what I mean about the wooden skewers? How everything rotates, nothing slides. my full rotation on, like I was telling you about this charcoal being in a certain position. Alright, let's cover that back up for about 3 or 4 minutes, and then we're fucking tear you wood. Alright. You can smell the flavor. Alright, and this round is done. Got a little straggler right there, but that's okay, nothing a pair of tongs can't fix. As you notice, I turned all the sticks to the outside right before I picked them up. Thinking ahead. And that's your first batch of sirloin kebabs, Randy style, from Blood of Angels. Now we get to throw on the wild cards. The meat lovers. That's for the cook. The pineapple I'm gonna put right in the middle. And the potatoes. I'm gonna get both of them nice and burnt. You can cook things 2 different ways. You can cook it short and you can cook it long, depending on how far the charcoal is from the grate. In this particular grill, the charcoal is extremely low from the grate, so everything cooks a lot slower. So you have to think and plan for that. If you want to cook something slow or you need to cook something rushed. But luckily, kebabs and stuff like this, all these vegetables have so much moisture in it, it keeps your meat nice and tender as you're cooking. So, no matter how you cook it, if you cook it with the charcoal really close to the grill, you're going to want to flip it a lot more times and pay a lot more attention to it. Don't walk away from the grill. That's the first mistake right there. If you don't know how to grill, don't walk away. If you know how to grill, you can take frequent cigarette breaks, go grab a beer, whatever you got to do. But if you're new to this, don't walk away, and your food will be fine. Alright guys, this is the finished product of what we've been scrounging up tonight. All this nice and luscious vegetables and fruits and meat and proteins and everything. I'm joined here with my brothers in arms. I got Aaron, my guitarist, to my right, and Jonathan, my drummer, to my left. They smelled my cooking from a couple of miles away, so they had to stop by and see what was going down.
Always.
But here it goes. Thank y'all for being here tonight, and this is Cooking with Blood of Angels. And tune in next time, because I was having some saucy ideas of grilling a meatloaf, and I'll show you how that secret recipe goes. Thank you.